On the 14th day of Antiochus's teaching in Rome, he was approached by a young boy, who had long scars on his face and neck. Like serpents intertwined, they held him. They stroked his face and chin, like a mother they comforted him, and his voice was low and dark, like the earth, a grating sound, and all the men grew silent, though they were learned, and knew many philosophies, and knew of that which is not what is, and of the ethers and the elements, and let the boy speak, regardless of his clothes which were torn, to show him their generous spirits. All these questions you ask, the child began, are only comments. They dance around the problem, with fine words and delicate manners they approach you, but you circle your real desire, arms locked at your sides, as children circle in our games, hands over eyes in giddy enjoyment. You do not wish to find that which is obscured, you wish to not find it. At this, Antiochus closed his eyes and rolled back his head, as if looking upon something both high and within, and withdrew his arms into his cloak. Cassius, the doctor, who tended to those with sores and lesions, and poured into their wounds foul salts, grew angry and replied with a harsh voice, "We seek truth, only that we seek, and we spend our lives in searching. With words we reveal that which is covered, we root out that which is false. Those whose falseness is discovered in the contradictions of their language, there are none here who avoid truth. We are honest men, all, and that we wished to ask we have asked." And some of the men muttered and nodded, but many more rested their eyes on the boy, on his scars, on his deformity, and they were uneasy. And the child spoke. Then why has no one asked the question? Why has no one said the words that we all long to hear? Why have I not heard those words on your lips that you whisper in your sleep, when you are restless and your heart cannot stop pounding inside your chest to be set free of its relentless tasks of the prison that is your life, to which you enslave all the parts of your body? Cassius began to sweat and was angry, and said, "You are only a crippled child. What question could you ask that I could not?" And Antiochus spoke. His voice was a cold breeze and quickly silenced the assembly, and they pressed their hands to their stomachs and quickly drew their robes around them and shuddered, as they knew not where they were or where they were going, and were lost on a foreign road with no stars to guide them, all stars dead in the ground. "He wants to know," Antiochus said, "what happens when we die." And he said then, "The universe is dark around us, a mass of stars and air, but as thick as the wood of the trees, and it is into that we go when our bodies are killed, and we are only killed, killed by time and killed by life. I promise you this, that there is no such thing as a natural death, and being born is a sentence of death, and giving birth is an act of murder. Every one of you have murdered your sons. You have murdered all of them. And that is what being human means, and it is the physical shock of this, being born as what you are, the unbearable trauma that forces the soul from its shell, as a man who clings desperately to the edge of a cliff may be made to realize his hands by a fierce wind. There have been many that have said that death is like a deep sleep, but it is not peaceful and it is not restful. And the ones that have told you this seek only to make themselves feel better about what life is. But I do not care for your feelings, because your feelings are meaningless, completely and utterly meaningless, weightless. Death is a great horror. Immediately upon leaving the body, the deceased human being becomes the sole spectator of a marvelous panorama of hallucinatory visions. All things became the cloudless sky, and a mountain of clearest glass opens up from the blackness and punctuates the air above it with its fingers. It causes pure death to rain towards him, and there are no words to describe what it is truly like. You cannot know it. It is as if God himself has bled out onto the ground, and everywhere is the stain of it. We are soaked in it, and it smells of copper. But this is false. It is a spectre. It is a phantom. Anguish of a writhing spirit reflected against a purest backdrop of nothingness, because, oh, the death of a god, the pain of his blood, that would give life meaning. But there is no God in death. You will not see him, you will not find him. God is deathless. What use does God have for death, that Father of all things? What use has he for a broken toy? What use has he for the shattered vase, the broken vessel? What use has God for death? And what use has God for the dead? When you die, you pass out of God's realm. You pass from his sight, and the spirit stays cocooned in the glass mountain, wrapped in those beautiful unlights, until, whispered into his ear, those cold nothing words shudder downwards in a spiral, and, like earth spinning into water broken apart into pieces unlimited in number, their very force causes deep lines of fracture to appear on the very face of the mountain. Those all sounds and radiances first pitch upwards, rising screams and calls, and then finally cease altogether, the silence echoing everywhere, lingering in space. And through every time and the visions of the after-death stop, and in one clean, perfect moment of absolute impenetrable nothingness, everything simply stops. But in grief we do not claw our chests, we do not tear our clothes, we do not gnash our teeth, for though it lasts as long as it possibly can, there is no suffering, and there is no lack of suffering, no joy, no lack of joy, there is no cause, and no cause of causes. God, the great pitier, is not present to keep the tally or to write your name. There is no death, because there is no life. This is the question, and this is the answer. We are all trapped together, we are all piled together, with no order, just a pile of limbs and faces and legs and fingers. And you may cry out, please, please, please release me. Please let me breathe, please let me stand. But there will never be any reply, as there was never any cry to reply to. Once you have the answer, your life is over. All of you here, if you have heard my voice, then your life is over. Your life is over. Because you sought truth, and now you have it. Death is truth, and truth is death.